Unless we find the first issue, we're kind of spinning our wheels.
Yeah, you're right.
It might be a good idea to bring Satoshi and Ibara in on this.
No, I'd really rather not.
Well, it could take a long time for us to solve this, and we might not find anything out before your uncle's funeral.
His funeral. Fine, let's ask them. I have a feeling that we're gonna need all the help we can get to figure it out. I have to know. What happened to my uncle so long ago has weighed on me for years. I'm begging you all to help me find out.
Your uncle sounds like an interesting guy.
Did all of that really happen?
The story of a forgotten hero, uncovered by his niece 45 years later. You know, we were just looking at some stuff from that period.
That's true. I'm also fascinated by this picture. I'd love to help find out the truth.
This is kind of exciting, huh?
If we figure it out, we should write about it in the anthology. We can investigate all we want and call it club business. And so, this is the story of how all the members of the Classic Lit Club became fully invested in illuminating the...
Hey there! Did you wait long? Hey, what is your problem, man?
Put a sock in it! What's the matter with you, screaming like that?
Cut it out!
Anyway, did you bring all your research to present?
Of course, and what about you? Did you find anything good?
Yeah, I found a few things.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to hearing your hypothesis, too.
Oh, crap. I forgot we were supposed to come up with one.
All right, let's get going. The Chitandas are a super rich farming family, so their mansion should be top-notch.
Glad you're enjoying yourself so much.
What can I say? I love cycling. Speeding through town like the wind by the power of your legs alone is thrilling, you know?
Not that. I'm talking about your whole attitude about high school life so far.
Oh, right, the sunshine and roses bit. That's just me. I like to stay sunny regardless of my circumstances.
I'd say sunny is putting it kind of mildly.
Whatever. Why should anybody live their life under a little black cloud?
You said that last time we discussed this.
Did I really? Well, I don't mean it as an insult or anything bad. It's just foreign to me. I guess my attitude is all sunshine and roses at the end of the day. You can throw shade all you want, but it's not going to change that. I won't be rained out.
Well, maybe you should rein it in a little.
Not a chance, buddy. What's the big problem? You think I'm overextending myself with all these extracurricular activities, is that it?
Well, am I wrong?
Yeah, you are. Even if I weren't in clubs, I'd find things to do. I'm just an energetic guy, you know? And if I wanted to insult you, I'd call you boring, not pessimistic.
Yeah, well, I really don't care what you think about me anyway.
That's pretty obvious. Oh, hey, how did you end up doing on your midterms?
Average overall, of course.
There's that little black cloud again. There it is, up ahead. That's the Chitanda family estate. What did I tell ya? Pretty sick digs, right?
Come on, they're probably getting antsy in there.
Fine. Hey, wait! Wouldn't it be super cool if a butler came to escort us in?
I'm glad you made it. We thought you guys got lost.
Sorry.
Don't mind if I do.
Come on in. We're back here. Sit where you want. Make yourselves at home, okay? You sure took your time.
We aren't even late. Calm down. I've never seen a man less suited to take the seat at the head of the table.
All right. I guess we should get this party started, don't you think?
Second!
Sure.
Yeah.
The purpose of today's meeting is to investigate what took place within the Classic Lit Club 45 years ago. If we do happen to find out anything, then I want to include it in the anthology for the festival this year. First, let's each share reports on any data we've gathered, followed by some Q&A about those findings, then propose our hypotheses. Finally, we'll discuss the various theories and decide how we should proceed from there.
Dang, she's kind of a natural leader.
Okay, who do we think should go first? Oh geez, I can't decide who should start.
I take it back. Does it really matter? Chitanda, why don't you lead us off, okay?
Right, good idea. I'll begin and then we'll go in clockwise order from there. I decided to research the old anthology titled Hyouka. The only reference I could find to the events of our investigation was in this foreword. I compiled all the facts from it and included them on the second page. Let's look at item 1. Senpai refers to my uncle, Jun Sekitani, the subject of our quest. We know that Jun was kicked out of Kamiyama High, and thus his academic career ended as a middle school graduate. Item 2 just shows that the story became more exaggerated as time passed. He started as a hero and turned into a legend. Items 3 and 5 are connected. He was a quiet and kind senpai, and once he turned warrior, he morphed into a hero. In the end, he became a martyr. Item 4 is curious to me, but we'll talk about that later. That concludes my presentation. What do you think? Any questions for me?
I have one. Why did you leave out the part where the author says it was in no way a heroic tale?
Because that's an opinion, and I only included facts.
Maybe by that they just mean the fights were really scrappy, that they weren't anything awe-inspiring or remarkable.
That could be true.
Okay, now let me tell you my hypothesis. I think my uncle may have protested some school policy and was asked to leave as a result. There's something else. It's not stated objectively in the foreword, but I inferred it from the wording. This says it had been a year since the events occurred. That means my uncle was expelled around the time of the previous Kanyasai. This is kind of off topic, but my friend who goes to another school told me that they had an incident at their cultural festival last year.
A Culture Fest shakedown! Extortion and larceny, a dark, seedy underbelly!
I guess every generation has its crooks who want to spoil it for the rest of us. Maybe people like that tried to target Kami High's festival that year, and when my uncle led the charge to defend the school against them, he got punished for fighting. That would be in line with the whole hero narrative. I think the underclassmen who looked up to my uncle for his bravery were mad that he got expelled, and they wrote this in honor of him.
I don't buy it.
Yeah, I agree with Hotaro.
Seriously? What part of it doesn't add up to you?
Well, for starters, do you remember what I suggested we do instead of the anthology when you first brought it up to me that day?
Let me see. A concession stand!
That's right. You told me that selling refreshments had never been allowed at the Kanyasai before. So why would anyone try to rip off a festival where they knew no money would be changing hands?
They might have come with other bad intentions besides stealing people's money.
Didn't think of that one, did you, Hotaro?
Fine. Why don't you wow us with your take on her theory?
A bunch of punks disrupting the Kanyasai, I'm sorry to say, would never have happened back then.
Why not?
When you think of that time period, the 1960s, what images come to mind? Tokyo? The Diet Building? Protests? People carrying signs?
Satoshi, why don't you get to the point already?
Peaceful student activism. You see, the kind of on-campus violence Chitanda presents in her hypothesis wasn't even a thing yet in the 60s, at least not around here anyway. We were fighting against the man back then, the system in the state. There wasn't any animosity toward the teachers or the schools.
Don't try to make it sound like you were there.
I obviously wasn't, but I did some in-depth research.
You're right, I didn't take the social climate of the time into account.
I'm really sorry, Chi.
What are you apologizing for, Mayaka?
The information I found in my research doesn't support your theory either. I wanted to wait my turn so I didn't say anything, but my info refutes your claim.
Damn it, Ibara. You just let me waste my breath?
No worries. I think it's safe to withdraw my theory for right now, so Mayaka, why don't you share your findings with the group? Is that alright with you guys?
Sure thing.
Yeah! Oh man, my butt is falling asleep. This might be rude, but your estate is ginormous, Chitanda. Do you have a pond in your gardens?
Yep, we sure do.
Really? I'd love to check it out. Would that be cool with you?
Oh yeah, I want to see it too.
Okay, why don't we move the meeting outside then? It's such a lovely day to sit out on the veranda.
A pond? Wow.
This is a copy of a booklet I found in the library called Solidarity and Salutes, Issue 1. I couldn't find issues 2 or higher, though. It was published 45 years ago, the same as Cheese.
Our valiant activism. Really? That sounds so old-fashioned.
Okay, let's dive in. We in this case refers to the students, while the terms reactionary forces and authoritarians refer to the teachers. The previous June, there was some kind of conflict, and Jun Sekitani, the president of the Classic Lit Club, spearheaded it. The students, under his leadership, engaged in what they called activism by sticking it to the teachers.
Interesting. I wonder what their methods of protesting were.
This solidarity and salute stuff seems a little silly, doesn't it?
What do you mean by that?
I'm not knocking it. I just think it makes a presumably common high school complaint out to be on par with a legitimate real-world protest, you know?
So does that have any bearing on this research?
Nope, I'm just thinking out loud. Sorry for interrupting you guys.
All right. Any questions, or can we keep going?
Well, here's my hypothesis. Like I said, Chi's theory doesn't work. According to Solidarity and Salutes, the incident in question happened in June. As for what Sekitani did to get expelled, violence is what comes to mind, right? So in other words, he and the students he inspired got themselves all riled up. And they let the teachers have it. There isn't any evidence he actually hit anyone, though. Something happened that threatened to take away the students' freedoms. They must have rallied together to fight against that perceived injustice.
And my uncle was their leader?
I'm almost completely on board with your hypothesis, I think.
Why almost?
To sum up, your theory is that the students resorted to violent resistance in protest of some sort of oppression by the teachers, is that it?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a decent hypothesis overall, but honestly, I think it's a little too vague to fit the bill.
Well, my theory doesn't mention anything specific, that's for sure. But are there flaws in it?
Uh-huh. Both Hyouka and Solidarity and Salutes claim the incident occurred in June, but we know he wasn't expelled until October. If he had led some violent uprising against the teachers, he would have been expelled immediately.
Fine then.
Yeah, I'm curious about why they'd wait 4 months to expel him, too.
In Hyouka, it states that it had been a year since he left, and it was published in October, so that must be accurate.
Okay, guys, I get it. My theory doesn't work.
I think you're on the right track with the protest, though.
Yeah, I agree.
Well then, I guess that means it's the end of my turn, doesn't it?
Yes, thank you for your input. Okay, moving on.
Sorry. Sounds like my stomach wants to contribute.
Jeez, you just ate a bunch of junk food.
Yeah.
I can make you some onigiri if you want. What about you guys? Sound good?
Hey, Chi, do you need any help with those?
No, I'm fine, but thanks for asking.
You sure?
Uh-huh.
Handmade snacks, bro.
Calm down, weirdo.
Wait, Fuku, doesn't this...
Mayaka, I'm sorry. According to this data, your hypothesis can't be accurate, not even a little bit. I forgot to say it earlier.
Fine, whatever.
Is this the Kami High monthly newsletter? I just remembered Togaito mentioning they were approaching the 500th issue.
Yeah, he's right. There are about 500. I took a quick look through almost all of the back issues, but my research didn't turn up very much. This article was all that mentioned an incident from back then, and trust me, I looked. Page 2 is a summary of what it says. The first one and the last one say the same thing. No violence occurred at all during the incident. So, Mayaka, there's proof against your theory. Also, if we refers to all of the students, it says they were in solidarity, so the entire student body could have been involved. At the very least, it means everyone in school supported those who actively participated.
Here you go. Thanks for waiting.
Wow!
These look amazing, thanks.
Sure. I made a few each of plum, kelp, and mustard leaf. Help yourselves, okay?
Thank you for the food. Huh? What's the matter with you?
Nothing.
Tasty.
Delicious.
Hey, Chitanda, is this rice from here on your family's farm?
It sure is.
Oh, do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, are you positive that this is the legendary movement that got Jun Sekitani expelled from school? This blurb doesn't seem like enough to support that.
Who knows? That's all I've got.
That's all you've got? How can we even count it as data?
I don't know, maybe we can't.
We can still consider it as circumstantial evidence, though. If the Jun Sekitani incident and the legendary movement were different events, there would be something in there distinguishing this as the legendary movement, wouldn't there?
She's right. That's what I meant to say. Thank you for sorting it out.
Okay, then what's your hypothesis?
Well, about that.
I'd love to hear it.
Unfortunately, I don't really have one to offer the group right now. My research only uncovered enough to correct the theory Ibara offered. And besides, it's not a database's function to draw conclusions.
I knew he'd say that. Now then...
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
What should I do?
Okay, Oreki. It's your turn now.
Hotaro, is this what I think it is?
The 50-year progress of Kamiyama's secondary school?
It is. I thought there might be something in the public record about the incident. But now that I look at it again, there's nothing at all worth mentioning to the group. I haven't come up with a hypothesis either.
What's going on? You're acting weird.
What's the matter? Did you forget how you're supposed to proceed?
You start by presenting your research.
Does this even qualify as something I have to do in the first place?
You're freaking me out a little.
What's up with you?
Are you feeling okay?
Stop it. Should I blow this off?
Whoa, you scared me.
Sorry, I forgot that I have some shiitake mushrooms drying outside. I have to bring them in out of the rain.
Do you need any help with them?
No, it's okay.
Hey, Chitanda.
What is it?
Sorry, but would it be okay if I used your restroom?
Oh, of course. Just go right through that door and then straight down the hall. You'll see it.
Are you nervous about presenting?
Straight down the hall. I'll see it, she says. Well, I'm lost. Huh? She's done so much research. The least I can do is put my brain to work for a bit. 45 years ago, something happened at Jun Sekitani. There are 4 different accounts. What's the common thread that ties them all together? I've got to think. Student activism, nonviolent resistance, 4 months between the event and his expulsion. What happened to Jun Sekitani? What did he do?
You sure were gone a long time.
Well, excuse me. It was my turn to present my research, right? Sorry, but I don't have a hypothesis. So would it be okay if we just skip my turn? We could move right on to the wrap-up.
Stop playing. You figured it out. I can tell.
Maybe. I think I've got a general explanation.
You've solved the mystery, haven't you, Oreki?
Calm down, Chitanda. Let him explain.
Yeah, come on, impress us. You better not let us down now.
All right, but I have to explain it in stages. First, let's establish the when. Well, we know it happened 45 years ago, for starters. If we trust both Hyouka and Solidarity and Salutes, then we know the incident took place in June, but that our hero left in October. Next, the where. We all know it happened at our own Kamiyama High School. As for the who, according to Solidarity and Salutes, our main player is Jun Sekitani, president of the Classic Lit Club. From the Kami High monthly newsletter, we learn that the entire student body was somehow involved. Now for the why. It makes the most sense that the students would rise up in solidarity against the teachers. To borrow from Ibara, the students likely rose up because something happened and they thought it threatened their freedom. And the event that caused the whole problem was... the cultural festival.
Where did it say in any of the research that the cultural festival was the cause of it?
It didn't, but just hear me out for a minute. In June, the teachers and students met to discuss the details of the festival. And they decided that the event would be held 4 months later in October.
Are you referring to this part where it says meeting to consider the cultural festival?
Exactly. Now take another look at it.
There are circles and squares marked at the top of each entry in the calendar.
I've got it! Squares are recurring events that happen every year, but the circles are things that only took place that year.
That's right. The same notation appears on calendars for other years, too. This is the only year that they held a meeting to discuss the cultural festival. But why is that? I bet that 45 years ago the student body demanded it. I found a clue in Hyouka. Right here. In the past year, Senpai has gone from being a hero to a legend. The cultural festival will continue its 5-day run in spite of everything. I think the keywords here are 5-day run, especially with the in spite of everything.
What does that mean?
The length of the cultural festival is what Jun Sekitani was fighting the teachers for. I'm just guessing, but combine that with this mention of the principal placing heightened emphasis on academics. I believe that the administration was trying to shorten the length of the festival against the kids' wishes. I could imagine that throwing the whole student body into a burning rage. That was the motivation, I bet, the why. As for the incident itself, let's talk about that. The how. The valiant activism, which was popular at the time, was carried out by none other than Classic Lit Club President Jun Sekitani. This leads us to the ultimate question, the what. The students did not engage in violence. Instead, they most likely decided to boycott class. With no one to teach, the school had to acquiesce and meet with the students, deciding to abandon the plan to shorten the festival. But someone had to pay, and thus, Sekitani was expelled. So why did so much time pass between the event and the expulsion? Well, if he'd been kicked out in June while tempers were hot, it would have made things worse. So they probably waited until after the festival when the hype had died down a bit. That's all I've got for the wrap-up.
Now I finally know. That's what happened to him? Excellent work. That was really impressive.
No. Yeah, you've really outdone yourself with that one, Hotaro. It all adds up, huh?
Why does he get it every time? It's so freaking annoying!
It came to me.
Do either of you have objections to his theory?
None here.
I hate to admit it, but I think he's right.
Well, in that case, let's focus this year's Classic Lit Club anthology on proving Oreki's theory. We'll get started on that a little bit later in the term. On that note, I guess this meeting is adjourned. Thank you for your hard work. I can't express how much I appreciate this.
It's not like I did it all by myself, you know.
That's true, but you're the one who found the answer.
I'll get your umbrella back to you at school. Well, see ya.
Although, would hearing that story as a child really have made me cry as much as I did? Next time, the truth about the historic Classic Lit Club.